There is a moment right before dawn breaks when the world holds its breath. The sky hasn't yet decided what color it wants to be, the birds are still dreaming their morning songs, and somewhere between the last star and the first ray of sunlight, there lives something called magic. You felt it before, that sudden awareness that something extraordinary is unfolding in the most ordinary of moments. Perhaps it was the way steam curled from your coffee cup, like incense rising to unseen heavens, or how raindrops on your window transformed the familiar street outside into an impressionist masterpiece. These are the micro moments of beauty, tiny doorways to wonder that exist everywhere around us, waiting patiently for our attention, like old friends we've forgotten how to see. In our relentlessly connected world, we've become archaeologists of anxiety, constantly excavating the latest crisis from the endless scroll of information. We mine our phones for updates, dig through notifications for meaning, and find ourselves buried beneath the weight of everything happening everywhere all at once. But what if instead of digging deeper into the digital earth, we learn to look up and around? What if the antidote to overwhelm isn't found in another app or article, but in the simple, radical act of noticing what's already here? Beauty, it turns out, doesn't require a passport or a purchase. It doesn't need to be curated, hashtagged, or validated by strangers. It exists in the spaces between our breaths, in the pause before a thought forms, in the way shadows dance across an unmade bed. These micro moments are democracy at its finest, available to everyone, requiring nothing but the willingness to witness. Consider the morning ritual of light. Every day, without fail or fanfare, the sun performs the most spectacular show on earth. It paints the sky in watercolors that would make William Turner weep. It casts golden fingers through blinds to touch sleeping faces and turns ordinary objects into temporary sculptures. That ceramic mug on your kitchen counter becomes a vessel of liquid amber. The houseplant you've been neglecting suddenly reveals itself as a master of chiaroscuro, its leaves catching light like green prayers. The dust motes you usually curse transform into a galaxy of tiny dancers, each speck choreographed by invisible air currents into a performance more mesmerizing than any screen. But light is just one member of the symphony of small wonders. Sound, too, offers its own collection of treasures. The distant hum of a lawnmower on a Saturday morning becomes the soundtrack of suburban peace. The rhythmic tick of a wall clock transforms from background noise into a meditation on the preciousness of passing time. Rain against glass isn't just weather, it's nature's percussion section, each drop a tiny drummer announcing the sky's generosity. Even the mundane sounds reveal their magic when we truly listen. The whistle of a kettle becomes a call to presence. The creak of floorboards under your feet becomes evidence of your existence in this moment, this place. Touch, perhaps our most immediate sense, offers a direct line to wonder, the smooth coolness of river stones, collected on some half-remembered beach, now serving as paperweights on your desk, can transport you instantly back to that day when time moved differently. The texture of tree bark under your palm as you walk past tells the story of years weathered and seasons survived. The weight of a book in your hands isn't just paper and ink, but the accumulated wisdom of someone who once sat as you sit now, trying to make sense of the world through words. These moments don't announce themselves with fanfare. They're shy creatures, easily startled by the harsh light of intention. They prefer to be discovered rather than sought, noticed rather than pursued. They're the antithesis of viral content, too quiet for algorithms, too simple for monetization, too personal for mass distribution. And perhaps this is precisely what makes them revolutionary. In noticing them, we perform a small act of rebellion against the attention economy that profits from our distraction. We declare that not everything meaningful needs to be shared, measured, or compared. We remember that before we became content creators and consumers, we were simply humans capable of being moved by the movement of clouds across an afternoon sky. The practice of micro-attention is like learning a new language. At first, everything feels foreign and requires effort, but gradually fluency develops. You begin to notice how morning coffee tastes different when you're actually tasting it instead of scrolling through your phone. You discover that the walk from your car to the building becomes a journey through a landscape of small miracles. When you lift your eyes from the ground, you realize that the 5 minutes spent waiting for the elevator can be 5 minutes of watching light patterns shift across the wall, or of feeling the weight of your breath, or of simply existing without agenda. This isn't about becoming a professional noticer or turning observation into another task on your productivity list. It's about remembering what you already know. That wonder isn't a luxury reserved for vacation moments or special occasions. It's woven into the fabric of ordinary Tuesday mornings and mundane Thursday afternoons. It lives in the space between busy and not busy, in the pause between thoughts, in the moment before you reach for your phone. The science supports what poets have always known, that paying attention to beauty, even in microscopic doses, changes us. It lowers stress hormones, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and creates new neural pathways associated with calm and contentment. When we notice beauty, our brains literally reshape themselves toward greater resilience and joy. We become archaeologists of wonder instead of anxiety, excavating moments of peace from the landscape of our daily lives. But beyond the science lies something more fundamental, the recognition that these micro moments connect us to something larger than our individual worries and wants. When you notice the way sunlight transforms your kitchen wall into a canvas of golden geometry, you're participating in the same wonder that has moved humans for millennia. When you pause to really see the intricate pattern of frost on a winter window, you're joining a conversation between physics and beauty that predates language itself. This noticing becomes a form of prayer without doctrine, meditation without technique, mindfulness without apps or instructors. It requires no special equipment, no monthly subscription, no expert guidance. The only prerequisite is the willingness to occasionally interrupt the story you're telling yourself about how busy or worried or overwhelmed you are, and instead, for just a moment, notice what is actually happening right here, right now. Sometimes it's as simple as really looking at the person across from you at the coffee shop, seeing them not as background to your thoughts, but as a fellow traveler, complete with their own inner world of hopes and hesitations. Sometimes it's feeling the weight of your clothes against your skin, the miraculous fact that you exist in a body that breathes and moves and senses without conscious direction. Sometimes it's the recognition that the seemingly random pattern of cracks in the sidewalk beneath your feet has its own abstract beauty, a map of small earthquakes and seasonal expansions that tells the story of time and weather and the quiet patience of concrete. These moments accumulate like interest in an account you didn't know you had. Each noticed beauty compounds, creating a reserve of wonder you can draw from during the inevitable storms of life. The memory of how steam rose from a manhole cover on a cold morning, like urban incense, becomes available to you months later, when you need reminding that the world is still fundamentally mysterious and beautiful, despite evidence to the contrary. In a culture that increasingly feels like it's forgetting how to be present. Choosing to notice micro moments of beauty becomes a radical act of hope. It's a declaration that despite everything, life is still worth looking at closely. It's an affirmation that wonder hasn't been stripped from the world. We've just forgotten how to look for it in the right places. The invitation then is simple. Begin today, not tomorrow, not when things calm down, not when you have more time or less stress or better circumstances. Begin now, wherever you are, with whatever is in front of you. Let your attention settle on one small thing, the curve of a shadow, the sound of distant traffic, the feeling of air moving in and out of your lungs. Give it 5 seconds of genuine attention, the kind of attention you might give to a beloved face. Notice how this small act of witnessing changes the quality of your presence. Notice how the world, which moments ago felt flat and familiar, suddenly reveals hidden dimensions. Notice how you, the noticer, become more vivid to yourself in the act of paying attention. Then, if you feel moved to do so, share this noticing, not as content to be consumed, but as an invitation to others to begin their own practice of seeing. Tell someone about the way morning light transformed your coffee cup. Mention how the sound of rain against your window became a lullaby. Describe the particular shade of blue the sky turned just as dusk was settling in. In sharing these observations, you offer others permission to slow down, to look up, to remember that beauty isn't scarce or expensive or far away. It's here now, waiting patiently for the return of our attention, ready to remind us that we live in a world where wonder still exists in the spaces between our worries, as close as our next breath, as available as our next choice to really and truly see.